Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the April 27th version of the Post Falls Urban Renewal Commission Workshop. I'd like to welcome all of you here, and I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Director Fountain to please call the roll.
Good morning. Fleshman?
Here.
Crosby?
Here.
Carsonson?
Here.
Baltzell?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
And Clemenson.
Here.
Commissioner Coles has an excused absence this morning.
Okay, thank you. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Glad you're here. And it's going to be actually a very unique event this morning. This is the first time that we will have been addressing and attempting to approve two district plans at once. So we're getting excited about that, and hopefully you all will enjoy how we go there. Conflict disclosures. Do any of the commissioners have conflicts to disclose relative to anything that's on the agenda this morning? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to citizen comments. This section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission regarding an agency-related issue. Comments related to future public hearings should be held for that public hearing. Persons wishing to speak will have 5 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the commission? Other than you two. Okay, thanks. We'll move right along to the consent calendar. Director Fountain.
Thank you. Item A in the consent calendar is the commission meeting minutes of February 18th. Item B is the joint workshop minutes of February 22nd. Item C is workshop minutes of April 7th. And item D is the joint workshop minutes of April 20th. Item E is the payables for this month totaling $6,160.30. Item F is the bank activity report, which shows total in all funds of $5,213,780.42, with accrued interest for the month of $720.80. Item G is the financial reports as of March 31st. The February financial statements were reviewed by Commissioner Clemenson, who serves on the Finance Committee, and checks totaling $5,956.67 were mailed out on March 22nd, and the March financial statements were reviewed by Commissioner Fleshman, who is also a member of the Finance Committee. Checks totaling $6,160.30 were mailed on April 15th. I would answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding the consent calendar items? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'd make a motion that we approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second the motion.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, let's move right into the Pleasant View District resolution review and a potential approval. Resolution 2021-01 is a resolution recommending the approval of a new district plan adopting revenue allocation area for the Pleasant View District. Are there any questions or comments?
I just wanted to go over the boundaries of the district. It's up there on the map, so it's on the east side of Pleasant View Avenue from Celtice Way up to Highway 53. On August 20th, the Urban Renewal Commission passed a resolution declaring this area to be declared a deteriorated area. We have been attending bi-weekly meetings since May of 2020. Commissioner Clemenson, Commissioner Crosby, Legal Counsel Bredesen, and myself, and city staff. The Urban Renewal District is 600 acres in size. The infrastructure is planned in phases. Phase 1 will consist of sewer, water, and roadway improvements totaling approximately $6.8 million. Phases 2 through 5 total $19 million. A feasibility study by Heartland indicates that the base value of the district is $2.7 million today, and a projected value in 2041 when the district matures. It's anticipated that that value will be $442.6 million. Matt Gillis is here if you have any questions on the feasibility study.
Could you restate the base value again?
The base value is $2.7 million,
Okay, all right.
Okay,
and it'll probably create about 2,200 jobs at full development.
okay. And also, maybe I missed it, but there is a developer that is interested in starting on very, very, very quickly on a major industrial business on Pleasant View.
Correct. The feasibility study was done with 3 scenarios. The first scenario was there would be gradual development from south to north. Scenario 2 was with the transload facility, which is located right here. And that would, with that developing first, and then north with residential, north of Prairie. And then the third was north of Prairie to develop first, and then that transload facility. The transload facility is planning to begin construction this year. So we are doing phase 1 infrastructure just to be able, the minimum amount to get them into that location and up and running, so.
That would also give us the opportunity for any other industrial development south of that facility to be able to tap in and have water and sewer available as it develops.
Absolutely, and I've worked for the Urban Renewal Agency since 2009, and there's been talks about an urban renewal district out off of the Pleasant View area since I've worked here. So it's really exciting for me to see this area develop, and just the potential of industrial jobs that can be brought to Post Falls and Kootenai County it'll be awesome to see. The transload facility had indicated that they were going to bring 2 businesses along with them, and though they already have started in the Expo District. Kenworth Truck had a groundbreaking last week, and then Western Trailers will follow.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Were you finished, Diane?
Well, I did want to mention that Section 5 of the Urban Renewal Plan was rewritten to include more detailed information than was previous stated in our district plans, and so that language will follow through for future urban renewal districts. That's all I had, and Matt Gillis is here, like I said, if you have any questions for him.
Anybody have any questions for Matt? Matt, did you have anything you wanted to address?
One quick comment.
Sure.
And I apologize to Diane, maybe I gave her the wrong, an older map, but
I couldn't find one.
this parcel, this is the transfer station owned by Kootenai County, and it is not it's not within the district. There's just a very small parcel right here that makes this whole thing contiguous. So that is, this is an outdated map. And then also, in addition to residential, the parcels north of Prairie are also commercial and industrial. So there's a big mixture of them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Matt, I searched for a map without that piece in it, and I couldn't find one this morning.
Good
so,
catch, Bob.
yeah.
Okay, very good. No other questions? Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would say, in reworking Section 5 and in working with Diane on this plan, we added an additional section for the benefit of the taxing entities who will be reviewing this, which basically reviewed the history of the 4 districts that we've closed and the 3 districts that we will close in the next 2 years. And we found that in the districts we've closed, we had an aggregate or a general increase in tax values of 640% over the life of the district, ranging from a high of 1,000 or 2,000% to a low of 258%. And when we closed those districts, we returned annual tax revenues to the taxing entities of $2.68 million. And with regard to the 3 districts that we will close between now and 2023, we've had an annual increase of 740% in value. And when we close those 3 districts, we will return to the taxing entities an annual tax benefit of $4.74 million. So
That's great.
we wanted to make sure that the entities in reviewing that had a history of what's been done by the commission over the 20 years that we've been in existence, and how that's created a great deal of increased tax increment to benefit those entities and the communities. And we didn't even track the jobs, and we know that there was significant job growth too.
And also, this district has the potential for a significant increase in new jobs. They're pretty well-paying jobs for our area, which will be really helpful when it comes to of our residents here. Okay, any other questions or comments? No, none?
So Jerry, I just wanted to add that upon passing of this resolution, the plan will go to planning and zoning for a May 11th hearing date. And if they find that the plan is in accordance with the comprehensive plan as required by Idaho Code 502008B, then the planning and zoning will adopt a resolution relating to the proposal to create the Pleasant View Urban Renewal District. And then that will go to City Council on May 18th, and a hearing date will be set for June 1st.
Okay,
That's all I have.
okay, very good, thank you. All right, for the Pleasant View District, the resolution under consideration, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I would make that motion to approve the Pleasant View District Plan as written, as proposed.
Thank you, and just to clarify, that is Resolution 2021-01.
That is correct.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Fleshman,
Aye.
Crosby,
Aye.
Carstensen,
Aye.
Baltzell,
Aye.
Davis, and Clemenson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good. Motion carried. All right, great. Now, the next piece of that is the downtown district under Resolution 2021-02, a new plan to adopt for the downtown, new downtown district. Before I say anything about that, and let that move forward, I don't know how many of you saw the article on the front page of the paper this morning, but City of Post Falls announced with Avista that the Landings Park that's been talked about and proposed for some time down right on the river, right next to the Landings development that's been just sitting there for quite a long time, has been approved, and construction will start this month and completion in November. And I think if we went to the city's website, you could probably find photos and more detailed information that would be helpful. That's pretty exciting. We've been waiting for something to take off on that, and it was through the efforts of the City of Post Falls and their staff and Avista to partner to move that forward. So that'll be a compliment to the downtown district for sure. So anything you want information from Olivia and from Matt on this district feasibility study?
Yeah, I have asked Olivia to provide a presentation of the feasibility study because there were questions pertaining to the tiered project list and the cost for the downtown urban renewal district. So I'll let
Okay.
her take over and then I'll
Thank you.
come back up.
Hello, Commission.
Hello. Please state your name and the firm you're with.
Olivia Metz with the Metz Group.
Thank you.
Oh, I forget it's always up front. Must have already been on there from council. I changed it a little bit for you guys, though. so. All right, since I didn't get a chance to address you all with the feasibility study, I know we had a workshop that did address some of the issues, but I know everybody wasn't there. So I'm going to go over very quickly about how this district was a little bit more unique than a lot of the districts that were recently developed with Pleasant View and Post Falls Tech Park and the like, because it is an infill project, so it is different. And so with that, the analysis is quite different as well. So in order to really understand how assessed values will be generated throughout the district, we have to really look at what types of projects might be developed in there. But also, we really used the city's parking plan to understand what type of potential could be developed within block by block scenarios. And so within that, I looked at every single parcel within every single block and really developed it out based on the scenario A in the parking plan. And what that was is a little bit more conservative approach as to what type of commercial development might occur in the district. And so with that said, of course, we all know about the main catalyst projects that are proposed now. And so those are, for example, the Veneer project. So with those 3 catalyst projects, we're able to understand the really core of what will generate increment in the future based on these larger projects. And so with the Veneer Mill site redevelopment, there are 126 units that are proposed currently, and it's a mix of garden and urban townhomes. And what's also proposed is a 200-unit multifamily complex, a potential hotel, an assisted living facility, and about 76,000 square feet of commercial space. And then the GW Hunters site, the former GW Hunters site, is proposing the existing coffee shop will stay, but they are proposing an event center with banquet facilities, as well as a pedestrian plaza, a single-story restaurant, and 2 10-plex apartment buildings. Oops. And then the landings at the time was not purchased, and so how we had to develop that out was what's the existing land use and zoning for that area, which is mixed use, with a really emphasis on the commercial development. And so all of the commercial development that was projected are included in the jobs numbers. So what you all are interested in is the public infrastructure. So since there were so many infrastructure projects to help with those catalyst developments, as well as other development to occur in the district, we had to tier them out to Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 projects. Now, what had happened with Tier 1, so in the feasibility studies, Tier 1 projects were only included in the feasibility study to make it all really pencil. And so as development occurs and if more rapidly, and as funding becomes available, then the other tiers can be brought into the mix. But at any time, all of that can be reallocated and reprioritized, because as you know, we just need to make sure that everything's incorporated into the plan so that you don't have to amend the plan later. And so we just wanted to throw everything in there, but knowing that revenues will have to come in order to pay for everything. So in order for it all to work, the city center parking plan, the street completion plan, originally was budgeted $12 million. Now, when we first, the first go of the cash flow, I had in 15% for administrative fees for each year for the district as far as expenditures. And so then with Len's comments and Diane's, they indicated that $25,000 is what they allocate each year for the districts. So since that number was reduced, we were able to have additional funds for that street completion plan because it was reduced to 6.7 million in order for it to work out. But because of that reduction in admin fees, I was able to increase it to 10 million. So in order to make it all work. So that total tier 1 infrastructure cost went from 15 million up to 18.2 million. But the cash flow stayed the same because there was a formula that was not actually calculating. And that was that $10 million one. But my cash flow was calculating because I was doing year for year for year for year just to make sure it all calculated out. So nonetheless, the cash flow always stayed the same. And it was just the highlighted number that had changed. And so with that, I'm not sure if you have any questions around that, so I could, here's the cash flow. So the ending balance would be $666,000 with expenditures of the 18.2 million for public infrastructure. So do you have any questions around those numbers? Because I know it can be confusing. I want to make sure that.
Good.
Chairman, Olivia, the key drivers for the generation of the increase in the tax increment were, can you kind of refresh our memory as that? I know certainly it was the Veneer plant and it was some of the other knowns, but then there were some unknowns, some projections.
Right.
Can you
yeah.
sort of expand on that?
Yeah, so of course the catalyst, I don't know if, can you see that very well?
Yes.
Okay, so the Veneer site area, as well as down a little bit further to the west, you could tell that this is where a lot of the development will occur, as well as in the landings. But what is not really shown on this map are little pods of commercial, let's say, that will complement those catalyst developments. And so the infill projects will have, there'll always be residential, but there will be more of a mix of some commercial in there. And I don't have those numbers in front of me in terms of how much commercial there was. I'm thinking of my spreadsheet right now, but the commercial development within it's spread throughout the district, and there is quite a bit of development. But you're right, the most of the development will, the catalysts will be the land or the landings, as well as Veneer, GW, and then also sporadically through to the north, as well as, just where all the commercial corridors really are located, as well as along Spokane Street.
So the commercial nodes would be primarily the Veneer site and the former the landing site, and then the commercial corridors, which would be Spokane Street, what is it, 2nd Street, 1st Street?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Right.
or 4th Street, I don't know. Whatever street the city hall is on, and
Fourth. Yeah.
4th, yeah.
Yep.
And then some of the northern portion of Spokane Street.
Mm-hmm. And I believe Railroad too, because there's some mixed-use development projected on Railroad. Is that correct?
Well, there's a large multifamily development being built along Railroad, yes.
Right. Right.
Bob, did you have, excuse me, go ahead, Eric.
What is the western edge of the anticipated Veneer site development?
So the western edge is.
Would that be Lincoln Street?
Proposed is.
I think it goes as far as Post.
The road, sorry.
So that would be the existing multifamily.
Eric, are you asking the question like the size of the project parameters?
Well, just the depiction on here, you've got, it's obvious where the main part of the landings are. So that would be,
Post. This
okay,
is the one that's being constructed right now. That's the 18 unit that people have brought up, but this is I think that this has been mostly cleared now, and yeah, it's part of the Veneer site.
And that was all purchased by the same entity that acquired the Veneer site?
Correct.
Yes. So there's a consistency in that development.
Was that what your question was, Eric?
Yeah.
The-
Okay.
Bob, did you have anything you wanted to add while she's up? And please tell us who you are and where you are from.
Bob Seal, Community Development Director. I also wanted to indicate that after this map was made, this staff has had another meeting with a potential developer that's looking at doing a 50 to say $70 million project within the district. So, and that would be a combination of commercial and residential.
Where would that be
Let me
located?
just keep that under my hat for the time being until just they're in the process of getting their materials together. So,
And that would be a different firm from the ones that you're currently working with.
correct.
Excellent. Good. Did you get your question answered? Were you okay?
Yeah, I was just trying to clarify because I thought that's what he was alluding to,
Okay.
so I just, nope, I'm good.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody want to digest that for a minute?
Well, I was just trying to point out, there was a lot of discussion at the last council meeting, and I think Commissioner Eric would
Clemenson.
want to, Clemenson would want to add to that, but yeah, about the impact on some of the existing single-family of multi-story development, within close proximity, and the loss of the privacy issues. And I just wanted to point out that the development that we're looking at and the development we're anticipating is along those corridors that are currently developing as commercial, and they're not contemplated to be that kind of development. That may happen, but that's up to the Planning Commission and City Council and city staff.
Exactly. And everything that we analyzed was based off of the parking plan, which is in accordance with the zoning and planning and zoning, so, and land use.
Okay, good. Matt, did you have anything you wanted to add to this? Okay.
Those are questions about specific infrastructure or the parking plan.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your help
Yeah,
in bringing that information to us for clarity, and so, thank you.
no problem.
Okay. All right, now, we, I think, heard all we're going to hear, and no other questions. I'd like to move forward with the Downtown District Proposed Resolution 2021-02, approving a new district for the downtown area, as it's been already disseminated across the way there. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'd make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-02.
Okay, thank you. Any-
Second?
Got a second? Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Fleshman.
Aye.
Crosby.
Aye.
Karstensen.
Aye.
Baltzell.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
And Clemenson.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. That's the first time we've ever done two district plans, moving them forward to the next step with planning and zoning, and then to the city council for approval to really kickstart these things. It's going to be amazing to watch it come together. Before we go into the staff report, these two young ladies had questions on one or both of the districts, and now is probably a good time to ask them, because we're going to move through the agenda otherwise.
Was this public comment?
Pardon?
Was this public comment?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I believe that they have property within an existing district, so I think that's a more appropriate discussion to have with agency staff after the meeting.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I have some probably specific questions, just
Okay.
because we're new to the URD.
Not having to do with anything we're talking about today. Okay, very good. I misunderstood that. So we'll postpone that until after the meeting's concluded.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make a comment. As Diane noted, we've been working on this for 2 years. We worked very closely with city staff. Diane has done a wonderful job. We've had a great cooperative relationship with the city, led by Shelley. And we really appreciate the excellent work and the openness that both the Mets Group and Heartland had in terms of comments that we wanted them to address in the feasibility studies. And Matt Gillis, thank you also for all your work. A lot of engineering studies, a lot of cost studies, all went into forming the basis for determining whether or not these two districts were feasible. So, it's been a long and effort-driven journey, but I think, as you said, Chairman, these are going to be two excellent districts. I think we're going to finally realize the vision that the city had for the downtown district certainly with this district
Yes, thank you.
and the development we're seeing now.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any other comments on that particular subject? Okay, had a lot of, most of the work was done by Diane and Len and Pete, but we had input from others that were available as well, and so it was a definite team effort for sure. It's going to be an exciting time, and I don't think it's not going to be over yet, because once these get up and running and so on, the tech park is right on the verge of just taking off like crazy, and so we'll have a lot of interesting things that are going to help our economy, not only from a business standpoint and jobs and things like that, but also from the standpoint of opportunities and help to make our community grow and flourish. And so that's all a good thing. Highway 41 changes, there's changes going on there that and when they're done, I think we'll all appreciate it for sure. Same thing in the interchange at 41 and Celtis and I-90, and they might be a little pain in the neck for a little while, but when they're done, they should be really, really a benefit to the movement of people and things. So, okay, staff report?
Thank you. Shelley and I are going to meet with the taxing entity starting the week of May 10th. So we'll get that under our belts. And I just want to take this time to thank all of you for taking the time to read through the plans and provide your input. And I know it was a short timeline, and I really appreciate everything, all the effort that everybody put into it. And as far as Commissioner Clemenson and Crosby and Attorney Bredesen attending the meetings, biweekly meetings, and putting our input and getting things rolling and stuff was very, very important and very, very helpful. And Commissioner Crosby he went above board and came into my office, and I don't know, we probably spent 10 hours working on these plans to get all the information together, and he even took stuff home and rewrote stuff and got it back to me and stuff. So I really appreciate Commissioner Crosby's effort on that. So anyways, it'll be very exciting to have these two new districts up and going, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate it. Okay, Commissioner comments.
Yes, I have one related to the downtown district, and it's somewhat of a reiteration of concerns that I brought up with this on the very first meeting we had. I don't remember how long ago, but that centered on the impact of the current residents in this, because what we've got is commercial developments on either end and a big residential area, existing residential area, which goes back several decades, sandwiched in between. And at that point, I was concerned about the impact on those current residents. Well, on April 20th at the city council meeting, one of those residents, Travis Cheney and his wife Kathy, made public comments regarding some of the nuts and bolts of what has happened there. And it related more towards the infill development that has already gone on in terms of high-rise apartments, everything else is single story, but there's like now 2- and 3-story apartment complexes in there, and the negative consequences of those. And full disclosure, I've known Mr. Cheney and his wife for over 20 years now. I had a professional and personal relationship with him, and he is not one to make any kind of a statement without thoroughly researching it. So I just, and it was a plea to city staff to not forget the little guy kind of thing, and I would want to echo that. I'm in favor of this as evidence for my vote for this district. And once this goes beyond it, it's out of our hands as to the nuts and bolts of it. So I just want to kind of go on record that while this is going to be good for the overall city, the economy, the workforce, et cetera, let's not trample on the folks that have made their lives in that district for several decades, some of them. So,
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, very good. I guess I get the last shot at that. I just want to say that to complement the partnership between the city, the various city staff functions and the engineers and people that we use in the field, like Olivia and all of you and the communications that have continued to get really, really good and solid and make sense. And I think that's why we're where we are with these projects, and just can't say enough about the relationship that way. And I think that most of us who've been around, hanging around here for some time, that's never been any better, I think. And not that we can't always improve, but before I ask for an adjournment, I do have a question, procedural question. If these young ladies have a question, I would have to go out of session to address issues.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
It's not on the agenda and the citizen comment period's over.
Right.
So like I said before, I think it'd be better if they just talk to agency staff first, so we can discuss
I was gonna say, we couldn't have the whole
questions with
commission-
them, and, yeah.
Couldn't have the whole commission doing that without going back into session. That's still not fit with the agendas.
Well, it should be on the agenda.
Yeah, so we'll recommend that you visit with the staff, mainly Diane, and take it from there, and we can do that when this is finished. Okay, I don't have any other comments. Did I miss anybody that can't wait to say something? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. We're adjourned.